Many in Philadelphia, well, they already want him to scram. They just don't like him anymore, that Sam I am. It's go time in Philadelphia. The Eagles have no more excuses, no more rust cards to play. They have to start winning. So let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. It's Sunday night in Big T. Big, huge matchup on the horizon. NFC East implications. Let's bring the fellas on. Jeremy Burton, Mike Owens, they're both here. We're coming out of the bye. It's kind of a weird week. It's rivalry week. It's Dallas week, and well, it seems like not too many people are talking about the game.
Well, no, it's really odd around here recently. After all the, trade rumors with Kaepernick, nothing happened with that. But after sitting here in the bye week and watching the Giants play and the Cowboys play, you realize that, yeah, I mean, this Eagles team has a lot of work to do. But there's one thing for sure, and that's the NFC East is pretty bad right now. So NFC East is wide open for anyone to win at this point. And for the Eagles to be able to say that at 3-4, I mean, we should be thankful for that.
Yeah, it has been a really weird week. You mentioned the trade rumors with Kaepernick, but I just don't feel like the excitement that a Thursday night, it's almost Friday, going into an Eagles-Dallas rivalry game. I'm just not feeling the vibe. And I think it's because our team has drastically underachieved this year in many, many ways. And, it is a wide open division at 3-4. We can still, control our destiny here and just keep winning as many games as we can. And, I think 9 or 10 wins will definitely do it. So we just got to come out firing. Hopefully Chip came up with something over the bye week, and we can give it to Big D.
Yeah, the really, really positive thing coming out of the bye is when you look at the schedule, pretty much every game on there is winnable except for that New England game. Will they win every game? No, not going to happen because it's not a great team. But there are some positive signs, and let's talk about some of the things that need to improve on this team. Now that we're out of the bye, what are some things that you guys are looking forward to for the second half of the year?
Well, I think number one, they have to stop the drops. Just absolutely killing them at this point in this season. I know that their, receiving core definitely hasn't lived up to expectations, but these guys are playing in the National Football League, and they need to start to make catches. And it starts with our number one receiver, in Jordan Matthews. This guy has really struggled this year. I know that he's really hard on himself, but over the bye week, Matthews actually contacted Jeremy Maclin and got some advice from Maclin. So, that's a good sign. It's always good when a guy reaches out to a former Eagle who has been here and knows what it's like in Philadelphia. So hopefully that, will help Matthews out a little bit. But with the rest of the receiving core, at some point, Josh Huff is going to have to make a play. And really, you got to hope that Nelson Aguilar can really shine after this bye week because they need somebody else to step up among those receivers. And if it's not him, maybe they have to figure out a way to really utilize Zach Ertz a lot.
I'm rocking your boy Zach Ertz jersey right now, Mike. Yeah, the drops first and foremost. That's the easy thing you want to change. But I'm going to go on defense, and with D'Amico Ryan's a little banged up, and our boy Kiko's coming back in, I'm really looking forward to having Alonzo and Jordan Hicks in that middle, watching them wreak havoc in the linebacking core.
Yeah, there's a couple things I'm looking for. I really want to see this running game take off, and that means Ryan Matthews getting more carries. This guy's been unbelievable. At the same time, though, I don't want him to be the lead back. I know a lot of guys want him to be the lead guy. I don't think he can take 20 to 25 carries a game without getting hurt. He's the guy that gets hurt all the time. He's always dinged up. So I think limiting him to like 10 to 15 carries a game is really, really good. I am seeing some positive strides also from DeMarco Murray. I believe he's averaging 4.4 yards per carry since week 2, so it's gotten better. He's getting more decisive. His cutting is getting better, but I'm still when it comes to the downhill running, what he's supposed to be great at, this is where it's been a problem this year. Where I will see him hesitate in the hole instead of following his double team and just hitting the crease. He's not doing that. So I want to see some positive strides there. And Mike already brought this point up earlier with Nelson Aguilar. I mean, I think this guy's got to get targeted. I meant to look it up pre-show how many times he's been targeted this year, but I believe there's only been like one or two games where he's been targeted more than 5 times. So I want to see him, get an increase in those targets because no one else has proven that they can step up in the receiving corps. So those are the things that I'm looking for. Now, let's move on to Sam Bradford, Sammy Sleeves. A big topic of discussion this week. We kind of brought it up with Colin Kaepernick and how the trade rumors. I'm really not going to get into it on this show. Maybe we'll talk about it later. I never wanted Kaepernick. I don't know why you would bring a guy in midseason. The chances of that really happening are pretty much slim to none. But let's talk about Bradford right now. What are you guys looking for from him the second half of the year?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious with Bradford. He's got to be more consistent. That's really the key. And I don't mean consistent at throwing interceptions because early on in the season, I mean, that's been the trend. He's been very consistent at throwing interceptions. So, a lot of people I haven't really been a big fan of Bradford, but I did like what I saw from Bradford in the Panthers game. I think that it was probably one of his better games of the season, but unfortunately, it looked really bad for him because his receivers dropped 7 passes. So it's really tough for a quarterback to succeed when your receivers are dropping so many passes. But yeah, like I was saying, Bradford, the key is he's just got to be consistent. And another thing that I would like to see Bradford get into his game is maybe running the ball a little bit more. I think that this is something that the Eagles have to do because, teams aren't going to be worried about these play-action passes with Bradford because he's not running the ball or these zone reads. So even if Bradford gets 5 yards, hey, I mean, that's better than most of the runs that we're getting with Murray this season.
That's an awesome point, Mike. I mean, it's so true. You watch the tape, linebackers is who, in the read option, that's who you got to read as the quarterback. They pay zero attention. There's no deception at all to Sam going off and going for a few yards. They don't even look at him. They just hone in right on the running back, and then there you go. We're going down for like a loss of 3 yards. But Sam does have a tall task this week. Greg Hardy wasn't there when he played the Cowboys in Week 2. He's back. You've seen he can be a force. And yeah, consistency is huge. And I want to see a little more decisiveness out of Sam. He's been indecisive and just hasn't been consistent at all. He's been very mediocre, and we can't have that kind of quarterback play the second half of the year. And with Aguilar coming back, hopefully he can finally make a big play. I mean, get his first NFL touchdown maybe. That'd be nice. Get some more help for Jordan in the wide receiving corps because obviously that has been a struggle.
Yeah, Sam's an interesting topic. I mean, all right, so if you guys have watched my show before, you guys know that I basically gave him 8 weeks, before I could really judge him. So basically, he got a pass for me the first half of the year. But there are no more passes, all right? So Sammy's got to start getting his act together. And the other thing I wanted to say is this. Second half of the year now, but Mike did bring up the Carolina game. I thought that was the best game he played all year. Even though the numbers don't show it, even though the QBR or the passer rating was really, really low, I thought that was the best he played all year. Some of the third down passes he made were right on the money. They should have been caught. He could have had 2 touchdowns. I thought he played overall really, really well that game. But here's kind of my whole summary of Bradford in a sentence, which really exemplifies my kind of feelings of him right now. It concerns me because he has not wowed me yet. That's the one thing that I am concerned about. There has not been one play this year where he has wowed me with a throw. There's been nothing. And that's what I want to see change in the second half of the year. I want to see him throw some deep balls where I go, wow, holy shit, what a throw, right on the money. That's what I want to see. I want to see a killer instinct. All right? So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And well, I think they have to make Bradford feel comfortable. And I think especially the first few games, Bradford wasn't comfortable at all. But I think the last few games, you've seen that he's getting a little bit more comfortable. And I actually watched a Bradford press conference yesterday. It was, and I was actually quite impressed. This was the first time all year that I was actually happy with the way that Bradford composed himself. Usually in these press conferences, Bradford is really just pretty negative about things, pretty monotone, but he seemed upbeat in this press conference. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come. We need a fired up Bradford. The one thing I will say with Bradford is he really needs to get better with his pocket presence. That's one thing that really hurt the Eagles, especially in that Carolina game. And this goes back to my thing where Bradford needs to run a little bit more. Perfect example of this is you go and you look at the Cowboys-Seahawks game last week. Now, Matt Castle, he's a little bit like Bradford. He's not a guy that's going to beat you with his legs. He's not going to win any races. But Castle showed the ability to step up in the pocket and get a few yards. So I think that's something that Bradford really needs to improve.
Yeah, I completely agree, Mike. And I also kind of like Adrian had like a halfway mark of the season to assess Bradford, and there's definitely no more excuses. This is a huge game in the division, coming off a bye week. There should be no reason why he can't play well. I mean, as long as he gets time in the pocket, the Cowboys secondary is nothing special. And I think we'll be able to tear him apart as long as he gets protection. And like you said, Mike, you saw in the press conference, he did seem a little more composed. Maybe he's getting a little more confidence. I think he had a decent game against the Panthers. There were more, precise throws. Unfortunately, they just weren't caught because we had so many drops and a lot of bad luck. So hopefully this is it for Sammy Sleeves, and we can finally have that wow game.
Yeah. And like we said, we gave him a pass the first half of the year, and there's no more of that. No more of that. He's throwing a bunch of interceptions. This is like the highest interception rate I believe he's had of his career. If you look back at 2013, he actually had some pretty good numbers. So before he got hurt. So we'll see. I mean, I don't want to say I'm confident moving forward with him, but I feel better. I think he can get the job done. But is he going to wow me? I hope so. Because that's what the quarterback position is. The most important position in the NFL. You got to wow me. You got to do some things. You got to put the team on your back, and that's the thing that I'm looking for. Because his demeanor has not been great at times. This has been a thing that I'm really concerned about with him. Is that demeanor, that killer instinct? I don't want to see that scared puppy dog look. I want to see the DeMarco Murray pissed off, angry face look all the time. That's the Sammy I want. So DeMarco's got to go to his boy and show him a few tips of how to get pissed off.
Yeah, well, we saw, DeMarco get pissed off in that first Cowboys game this season at the Link. So that's what we need from DeMarco, and we need from the rest of the team, that kind of attitude. But just to go back to Bradford and the running game for a second, you mentioned this before. I think one way to get Bradford going is to really get that running game going, and they've kind of really been struggling with DeMarco Murray at this point in the season. And you kind of brought this up with Matthews. I really think what they need to do is, I think they need to start the game with Matthews. And I think if they can get some success early on with Matthews, I think that's when you start to work in Murray then, because the way Murray is struggling right now, I think if they can open up that line a little bit, then that's where I think you can really utilize a guy like Murray, because Murray is good when he gets to the second level, but the problem is he hasn't been able to get there.
I mean, Matthews is averaging over 6 yards a carry, for Christ's sake. I mean, get him the ball more, and yeah, it's a good point. Maybe start him off and then work. I mean, I think it should be like a 1.5 to 1 split, with more favoring Murray, and I think Murray's like out to is really out to prove a point this week. Going back to Dallas, he's another week healthier. He had the bye week, and they were saying he had maybe a lingering injury in the beginning of the season. Maybe that's why he started so slow. So, we'll see. That getting that running game going is definitely going to take the pressure off Sam Bradford and hopefully open up the passing game, and we can get maybe a couple shots down the field. And I mean, I just want to take it to the Cowboys, man. This is such a big game. We got to get hyped. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to run the ball more. I think even if you look at the Carolina game, I forget what the stat. I think Bradford threw it 43 times and they ran it 30, which is not what I want to see. I want to see some more running the ball. I want to see a little bit more 50-50 ratio. I know it's a new era. That's not how you play anymore. But I think if the Eagles want to win, you got to split the carries and well, not split the carries, but split the ratio. So I want to see Murray. I want to see Matthews get a lot of carries, and I want to see Bradford. Just kind of middle along. I want this to be about the running game on Sunday. I think you got to run the ball with those two.
Yeah, well, the thing that's always funny about the bye week is during the bye week, all these injuries finally come up. They say, "Oh, well, yeah, Murray was actually dealing with some injuries early on in the season." They try to make up these excuses, and well, this is kind of really ironic because it was really weird in training camp the way that they were limiting Murray in practice. So him having these ghost injuries, it might actually be something that was real, because I will definitely say that Murray did not look like himself in the first half of the season. So I think, harping on your point, I think that this is really, really a big game for Murray. I think he needs to turn it around.
Yeah, it is. It is a huge game for Murray, and I think we'll get the running game going. I'm not really worried about it. I think they'll be healthy. One thing I do worry about is Jason Peters' health and that left side of the line. Because Tobin is not even comparison to Jason Peters, and Peters has been playing better as of late too. It's a shame he had to go down. So hopefully we can get this running game going, and that'll help us win the game.
Yeah, I think some of the problem with the running game too has been, at least with Murray, it's been just learning how to use your blockers. I mean, in Philly, it's a more complex kind of blocking scheme. You got a lot of different moving parts, and you got to have the timing down. I think Matthews has had an easier transition because he's had a lot more of these type of runs in San Diego, because San Diego is one of the few teams that runs that pull sweep with the center. I believe Denver was another team a couple years ago. So there aren't that many teams that run that kind of stuff. But San Diego was one, and Ryan Matthews knows how to run it. So there are certain plays that I think Murray is still kind of just learning when to cut, when that hole opens up, when it doesn't, how long the hole is open for. I mean, these are kind of things that running backs have to figure out with time. And sure, it's taken them maybe too long, but I think we do have to take this into account.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. You got to take it into account. And I mean, there's a reason why DeMarco Murray led the league in rushing last year. Yeah, a big part of it definitely has to do with that Dallas offensive line, but also Murray is a pretty good running back. So, you would hope that, going into the second half of the season here, he starts to pick it up some, and we see more of that Murray that we saw last year with Dallas.
Yeah, there is still 9 games to go. We still have more than half the season to play. There's going to be a lot of yards to be had for our running backs, especially Murray. I really think he has a strong second half, and that'll help our success down the stretch to winning the division.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to Dallas now. Two guys that we didn't see in week 2, Des Bryant, Greg Hardy. We're going to see them this time. One guy who we will not see is Joseph Randall. Oh, he was back at it again with all those shenanigans. So, Bryant, we're going to see him. That's going to be really fun to watch with he and when he lines up against Byron Maxwell. There was a game last year. Dallas played Seattle in Seattle, and Byron Maxwell was on Des Bryant, and he shut him down before he left with an injury. So these are the kind of receivers that Maxwell plays well against, the big kind of physical guys. So we'll see how he fares on Sunday because, obviously this is a huge matchup.
Yeah, well, it's a huge test for Maxwell and the rest of the defense. The one positive thing that we have on our side is that Des Bryant is still dealing with this foot injury. He did play last week, but he was definitely not 100%. And, you saw what happened when we played a not 100% Odell Beckham. So it turned out well for us. So I think that this could be a similar situation, especially if the Eagles play a lot of that bump and run along the line of scrimmage with Des Bryant. It's going to be hard for him to really cut off of that foot. So I still think, Des Bryant is going to get his catches, but, you have to look at it realistically, and Des Bryant is going to be catching passes from Matt Castle. So, yeah, I think that we have an edge there, really. But what we really have to be careful of is Greg Hardy. This is a guy, he brings his machine guns to the game. He brings his rifles to the game. He doesn't even leave them in the locker room. Sometimes he brings them out onto the field. The guy is a maniac. He's a nutcase, but he's a hell of a good football player. And the Eagles are going to have some problems dealing with him. I can tell you that right now because their offensive line, it could be very ugly if Jason Peters doesn't get the start, can't play because of his back injury.
Oh, man, Greg Hardy, what a punk. Such a punk. Oh, man, Jason Peters, he better play, man, because I think Hardy is going to school Tobin if he gets the chance on that side. But with Dez, I love our secondary, the way they've been playing this year recently, so I think Byron Maxwell, we've been using him more into his strengths, and as long as you're physical with Dez, he's a big physical receiver, but I think Maxwell is really going to thrive on that matchup, and it'll make him play better playing against such a superior wide receiver. And he's got safety help back there. Thurman and Jenkins have been great. So I think our defense will do the job. Although Matt Castle did torch us 2 years ago for over 400 yards when he was on the Vikings, but our defense, it's a much different defense, so I'm not as worried. Like I said, the biggest thing that worries me out of them two guys that they have is Hardy and the health of our offensive line and giving Sam the pressure and the timing he needs to get the ball out.
Yeah. There's been kind of a little misconception with Byron Maxwell. He's actually been playing a lot better since week 2. Obviously didn't come out with the best start. Obviously, defending Julio Jones got torched time in, time out. It was the worst I've seen a quarterback look since, a guy named Bradley Fletcher was here. But, he's really atoned for his lackluster start. He's playing a lot better. He looks a lot better. Even though Odell Beckham was a little bit hurt when he played him, Maxwell kind of impressed me in that game. And this is another opportunity, again, another NFC East quality receiver that Maxwell has to go up against. Obviously, he's hurt, but, I want to see him get shut down. I want to see Des shut down. I want to see him crying on the sidelines.
Yeah, well, with Maxwell, pretty crazy turnaround that he had after that, really atrocious first game there against the Falcons, but they brought in his alien ship came in, all his alien friends came in, and they took the laughing gas away from him. So Maxwell does not have the laughing gas anymore because, that's what Maxwell liked to do. He liked to laugh a lot, and he looked like he was on drugs. So They took the laughing gas away. There's no more drugs available to Maxwell, so he's actually playing up to his potential. So, yeah, but big matchup there for Maxwell. I think we'll do well. And, really our secondary as a whole this season, really playing outstanding football. This defense in all, they strive to get 3 turnovers a game, and they're not joking around. They're getting it. So if you want to be optimistic about the second half of the season, I think you have to look at our defense, because our defense is going to carry us, and that's good, because if they can play like they have been, then this offense, it doesn't need to do that much. It just needs to get a little bit, maybe 7, 10 more points a game, and there you go. Instead of losing games, you're winning games.
Yeah, you nailed it, Mike. The defense has been, so much fun to watch this year. It's crazy because Chip Kelly's this big offensive guy, but now it's really been our defense that has been, shining all year, and our offense stinks. So I don't. It's kind of a role reversal, but I think the defense will play well. I think Castle, is obviously a very, very mediocre quarterback. So we got to take advantage of that when we can in this matchup. And like I said earlier, our secondary has been great all year, so we should be able to handle Des Bryant and their running game is deal with their offensive line. But I did see Lyle Collins throw Earl Thomas and another linebacker, just throw them off the play and on a running play last week. So do have to worry about their offensive line and the running game, but we're one of the top teams against the run. So it's a matchup we should be it should be fun in the trenches.
Yeah, you look at overall what the Cowboys have come, what they are coming in. They've lost 5 in a row. They're 2-5. So you win this game, you really kind of put that stake in their heart for the rest of the season. That you go 2-6, they're not going to come back. So you would think, if they can just score 20 points, they should win this game. I believe Dallas has, let's see, they scored 12 last week against Seattle. They put up 6 against New England. They had 20 against the Giants and only 20 against the Saints. So if you put up over 20, you should win this game.
Yeah, no, the Cowboys are definitely not racking up the points on offense, so Eagles shouldn't need that many points to win this game. But then again, Eagles continue to drop passes, then it's going to be trouble. So yeah, it's not going to take that many points to win the game.
Yeah, I definitely think we can hold Dallas to under 20 points. And, come on, Chip. Can you get 3 touchdowns? Can I get 3 touchdowns from you, Chip? Come on.
That's all we want. That's all we're asking for. Just 3 of them. I don't care if one of them comes on defense, one comes on special. I don't care if none come from offense. I just want 3 touchdowns. That's it. 3 touchdowns, we win.
Keep Sturgis off the field, and everyone's happy.
Oh, seriously.
Oh, boy.
Can you imagine 22-20 with 9 seconds on the clock, and Sturgis has a 5-yard field goal to win it?
Dude, I would have no hair left. Oh my God, I would be shitting bricks.
Oh boy. Oh man. All right. Let's talk about Matt Castle a little bit. You referenced earlier. I went and watched that game again. I don't know why, but I did. That game in Minnesota when the Eagles, they pretty much wasted their opportunity of getting a potential bye in the playoffs. They go to Minnesota and they just get swamped by Matt Castle.
Remember that? Oh man.
Oh man, we did not pressure him whatsoever. He had all day to throw, and he just picked us apart. So basically, I want to see some blitzing. I want to see some pressure. Billy Davis, you better bring the heat.
Yeah, well, that's where getting guys back from injury is really going to help you out. And some guys I'm going to mention here, I a guy like Brandon Bear, I think that he's really big on that defensive line. I think he can bat down some passes for you. Then also you look at the inside linebackers, finally starting to get everyone back together again. Doesn't look like the Nico is going to be there, but you're still going to have now 3 quality inside linebackers, with Jordan Hicks, and you got Kiko Alonso and Michael Kendricks. So you get them, rotate those 3 guys. I think that's going to help a lot. And Jeremy mentioned this earlier, but Kiko Alonso could really be key in the second half of the season for that defense, because we saw the pick that Kiko had in the first game against the Falcons. The guy is a stud at inside linebacker, really anywhere you want to line him up on the field. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, you mentioned that game 2 years ago with Matt Castle. You know what annoyed me about that game most is how we couldn't kick off to Cordell Patterson, and we kicked it to like the 10-yard line every time. It was the dumbest thing ever. That game from the opening kickoff was just that was done. We had no shot. And no, Castle's very beatable. Mike mentioned Brandon Bear coming back from injury, and he's been. He loves getting his bear claws up there and blocking passes. So let's hope he's all over in Matt Castle's face. And we have a good rotation on our defensive line. We know Fletcher Cox and Benny Logan have been studs all year. And like I said earlier, with Kiko coming back, I mean, he's a playmaker. He's a stud muffin. So, I guarantee you he'll be running sideline to sideline. Really excited to get back. He has that lot of energy, and putting him next to Jordan Hicks and Michael Kendricks, the way Hicks has been playing, I love that. I love our linebackers.
Yeah, I just remember how much disgust I felt following that Vikings game. I mean, let's not talk about it again. No more. It's bringing back haunting memories. All right, what else is there to talk about? Well, how do we negate Sean Lee from having another great game? Because last game in Philadelphia, I mean, we're driving down in the goal line, and Sam Bradford throws this inexplicable interception to Sean Lee. He doesn't make that pick, maybe the Eagles win. So Lee's got to get negated. There are some players that Dallas has that does scare me a little bit, and he is one of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way you negate him is you don't throw his way. So I think that's how they negate him. I don't think there's a way that you can really negate this guy. I mean, we know that he's going to be a beast. I mean, he's going to dominate. The positive about this game is instead of dealing with the 2 stud linebackers, you only have to deal with 1.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Lee's been a force all year. We just gotta, hope we can give Sammy the protection. One guy I want to see a good game from is who Sean Lee might be covering is my boy. What I'm wearing is Mr. Ertz. I mean, Ertz has been one of the guys that actually has caught the ball this year and jumping up and making plays. So. I think we absolutely have to give him more looks, whether Sean Lee's covering him or not. I think we got to give him the opportunity, and I really want to see that connection. Ertz touchdown this week. Let's get it.
Yeah, for me with Lee, it's the sweep play and seeing how they can block him, because we saw last week. I mean, Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly were everywhere in the sweep game. This is the play that averages the most yards per carry for the Eagles offense, but they couldn't gain any traction going against Kuechly and Davis. They were getting limited to like 2 yards a carry. So can they run the ball against Dallas? I mean, we'll see. Sean Lee's kind of like the same kind of linebacker, very instinctive, very quick going sideline to sideline. So we'll see if they can run the ball.
I think they should be able to get some type of running game going, I would imagine, but it doesn't look too promising after that first game against Dallas this year, when they just absolutely dominate us and we couldn't get anything going on the ground. But I think they should be able to get something going in this game. I'm not expecting them to go wild, but I think that they could get maybe $150 on the ground combined.
Oh, $1.50 would be beautiful. Sign me up for that all day. One thing we can't have happen, we played Dallas week 2. We cannot have Sam Bradford leading our team in rushing. That just cannot happen. So let's get Murray going. Matthews, I want to throw some Sproles in there, whether it's in the slot or running the ball. He's averaging a pretty decent clip all year. So establishing the run obviously takes pressure off Sammy throwing the ball and help set up the passing game, and just hope we can get clicking on all cylinders. And I want to have a stress-free, entertaining game, please.
Kind of like Thanksgiving last year, huh?
Oh, exact game. Sanchez looked pretty good in that game. Oh, I remember. Yeah, stress-free and entertaining. That's exactly what that game was.
All right, prediction time, and I also want to get a player from you guys as to who you think will shine that we kind of haven't talked about. So let's start with Mike.
All right, yeah. So I'm actually feeling kind of optimistic about this game. I think that Chip Kelly, he's had a week here to kind of reevaluate himself, reevaluate his play calling, and reevaluate really the whole offense as a whole. I think you're going to see him mix it up a little bit here, and I think it's going to help the offense. I think you're going to see a lot more of Matthews. Obviously, this is pending this groin injury that he has, and he actually didn't practice today. But this is assuming that Matthews is going to play. I think you're going to see him a lot more. I think you're going to see the Eagles try to get Ertz a lot more involved. So I'm going to say that the Eagles end up winning this game 30-20.
Oh, that's a very, very similar prediction to what I was going to say. I'm going to go with 27-20. Birds. We'll get everything clicking. We'll put up the points. We'll limit them enough on. We'll limit the Cowboys enough on offense. Getting healthier. We got healthier linebackers. Guys coming back on defensive line. Brandon Bear, Kiko, Aguilar on the offense. I think it's gonna be pretty. It might not be pretty, but for a little while. But I think we'll eventually pull away with it.
All right. I don't think this is going to be easy. I think we're going to be biting our fingernails. I think we're going to be stressing. I think we're going to need the stress ball for the entire game. I think it's going to be close. This is Dallas, so this is kind of how these games go. I'm looking at a game similar to the NFC clincher we had, NFC East clincher we had a couple years ago when Brandon Boykin picked off the game-sealing interception at the end. We won 24-22, I believe. So I think we're going to win 22-20. We're going to win by the skin of our fingernails. But I think this will be the game that will kind of get us going moving forward. So it's not going to be easy, but we're going to win the game. And the guy I'm looking at in this game to break through, well, not break through necessarily, but we kind of haven't been talking about him lately. His name is Darren Sproles. For whatever reason, I am not seeing him lined up as a receiver as often as I did earlier in the season. I want to see more of that. I don't want to see Riley Cooper and Josh Huff out there. I want to see Darren goddamn Sproles catching passes instead of those guys. So 3rd down and 6, I want to see some arrow routes, and I want to see Sproles getting the ball. So he's the guy I'm looking at.
I like it. Definitely got to get Sproles more involved. My player, I think I'm going to have to go with Aguilar. I think that they're really going to try to get him the ball here because they have to, because no one else is stepping up along with those wide receivers. So I'm going to go with Aguilar.
I'll stay on offense as well. I'm going with Jordan Matthews to have over 100 yards, a bunch of grabs, and a touchdown. I think he's going to finally, not necessarily break out. We knew what kind of player he was last year, but finally have that game where it's like, okay, you are a number one guy. You can catch the ball. You didn't forget how to catch the ball. I think Jordan Matthews, this is his time to shine. He's really got to make a statement.
Yeah. All right. So there it is. I was gonna mention Aguilar, but I didn't know if he was gonna be allowed because We talked about him earlier in the show. So, fuck you, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I kind of broke the rules there, but there was we talked about a lot of guys, so there wasn't many other guys to pick from.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, I mean, I really think Aguilar is primed for a big time game. I really do. I think I'm seeing some signs from him. You know, I know he hasn't gotten targeted again, like I said earlier, but you know, I have seen him get open on tape. He's just not being looked at. So I want him to get some looks, and I want him to get the ball. So that's kind of what I want. What I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of this goes back to play calling too. I mean, really, Chip Kelly did Aguilar no favors. I mean, after the guy makes his first deep catch of the season against the Redskins, Chip Kelly decides to run an idiotic reverse with Aguilar. Aguilar fumbles. That's not the confidence that you want to, give a rookie wide receiver. So they got to find ways to get Aguilar some confidence, and to do that, it's throw the guy the ball and see what he can do because he did make that one-handed catch like I just mentioned against the Redskins. So he's got some talent.
He's definitely got the talent. We saw in the preseason his first touchdown, the way he jumped up for that ball and his acceleration. I mean, he's got the skill set. It's just about putting him, as Andy Reid would say, put the guys in the position to make plays. So let's see if Chip can pull an Andy Reid and get Aguilar in the right spots to use his dynamic skill set.
Yeah, it's about execution, though. Chip doesn't take the blame. Come on, guys. It's about execution. If you don't drop the ball, you win the game.
Yeah, well, their execution needs to be a lot better in many areas on offense.
That's for sure.
Oh, man. Well, the Giants play the Buccaneers on Sunday. The good old Bucs on the road. Can we get a W from Jameis?
I would love it.
It's possible. It's definitely very possible. I mean, Tampa Bay is not an easy place to play. With the cannons, you got to make sure that they're pointing in the right direction. Otherwise, they might take out a few of your players. And if they have Jameis Winston on cannon duty, then you're definitely in trouble. Because instead of shooting cannonballs out, they'll be shooting out live crabs.
Jameis hasn't thrown a pick in 3 weeks, I think. So, the Bucs are actually, they might be in Tampa. I was at that stadium earlier this year in the Tampa Bay game. Week 1, I saw Jameis play. Didn't really go his way that game, but he's been looking a lot better. And, Giants are definitely beatable traveling down to Florida. I don't know if Eli can handle all the heat. He might get sunburn on his pasty skin. So we'll see if he can handle the Bucs or not.
Yeah, I think the Bucs are going to win. We're going to be in first place again. We're going to be in first place again.
At 4-4.
At 4-4.
Yeah, with Jameis, what he's been doing recently though is he gets out to a big lead in the first half, and then at halftime he just starts to pound down those crab legs. So he's got to make sure that he doesn't do that. He's got to hold back on the crab legs till after the game is over.
You got to start doing it and use some non-salted butter.
How about the rest of our division? You forgot about the Redskins. Wait, who are they playing? Oh, yeah, they're going to New England. Big old L right there. You can chalk that one up. Patriots are going to go 8-0.
Oh, man. Dude, this division is so fucking awful.
Well, it's not as bad as... Dude, did you see the AFC South? Literally, the Texans and the Colts are tied for first at 3-5. Like, come on. What the hell is up with that?
I didn't know if I would ever see a season again where, like, a team would go 7-9 and make the playoffs like the NFC West a couple years ago, but the way the Colts are looking right now, they may go 7-9 and still win that damn thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the Texans end up winning that division, they got to find a way to revoke that because That would just be an absolute joke. There is no way that the Texans even should be remotely involved in any type of playoff race.
Absolutely. I don't know. I mean, this division, the AFC South, there's only a handful of great teams in the league. Actually, this is the first time in that there's like 4 7-0 teams, and 3 of them in the AFC. But it's been a weird season so far. There's a lot of mediocrity and only a few real great teams.
Yeah, I agree. So, all you can ask for is hopefully the Eagles can get hot in the second half of the year and you go into the playoffs with some momentum. I mean, obviously, you've seen the postseason, anything can happen. So, there's that. But the likelihood, no, not going to happen, not this year, not for this team. But, you can raise your hopes, I guess, have high hopes, as Harry Callis used to sing.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, when you got the Packers and Lambeau Field, yeah, you're not going to get through that hurdle, even if you're a pretty good team. So, yeah, not looking good.
Hey, if we win the division, at least we get a home game in the playoffs. So, I want to see us get hot, and I want to see a win in the playoffs. We got to win the division, win a game at home. We got to progress because we digressed last year from week 1. Now this is from year 1. Now this is year 3. So, this is it, Chip. You got to get back on Philadelphia's good side because there's a lot of people that don't really like you right now, Chip Kelly.
Well, I still love him. I love him. I want to hold him and cuddle. That's what I want to do. All right. Dude, Chip is a sexy beast. He is. He rides that motorcycle or that bike to work every day. Yeah. There's a good there's a good chance we may be playing Seattle in the first round. That's the thing that I'm not liking right now. Seattle's what? 5-4 now? 4-4?
4-4, I think.
4-4, yeah.
4-4, and Atlanta just lost. So, I wanted to see the 4-5 game where we'd play either Carolina or Atlanta. I'd love that. Play one of those teams at home. But if they get stuck playing Seattle, say Arizona keeps winning and Seattle just can't catch up, we're not winning that game. It's not happening.
What if Seattle misses the playoffs though altogether?
Well, that'd be great. But
I honestly think the matchup would be like Atlanta, and I think we would smoke them if they come to Philly.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think Seattle's going to find a way to go like 11-5 or something.
Oh wow, that's bold.
That's what they did last year. Same thing.
Yeah, they were like, I think they were 3-3, and they ended up. Yeah, you're right.
Well, they went 12-4 last year.
Yeah, they started out 500. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that offensive line is really really bad. So maybe they do go 10-6, but I can see 11-5. Atlanta right now isn't playing that well, so I don't know if they can get to 11 wins or not. So we'll see. I mean, Carolina is still undefeated. They're probably going to lose this week. I don't see them beating Green Bay. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Vikings slide into the playoffs and knock Seattle out. Who knows? I'd love to see Seattle out. Just knock them out.
Yeah, well, yeah, you would definitely got to cheer for the Vikings there because that would definitely be nice to have them in there over the Seahawks. Definitely don't want to see the Seahawks because Russell Wilson will give us problems all day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Seahawks are proven winners, so I mean, it's just you just don't want to see them in the playoff.
Yeah, there's two teams I don't want to see. Well, obviously Green Bay is another one, but I don't want to see. I think Arizona matches up with us really well, and I think obviously Seattle and Green Bay. Anybody else, I am not scared of. Nobody else. You want to play Carolina again? I'd love that. I'd love to play Atlanta again. Minnesota. I mean, I love their defense. I love Teddy. I like AP, but they're not going to beat us in Philly. So anything but Seattle, Green Bay, and Arizona, I'll be happy. But you don't ask don't get what you want when it comes to the postseason.
No, let's just win a few games first here.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get above 500 and let's go step by step here, pal.
NFC East stinks. If you can't win that division, then just get out of town. I am getting high hopes because they're a half game out of the worst division in sports, and they've looked like shit.
Yeah, no, they really have. It's oh boy, a miracle that we're alive here at 3-4.
Yeah, we got.
We're not just alive. I mean,
We're ready to go.
Yeah,
we're going. We're gonna run away.
Yeah, we're not drowning. No, we don't need life support. We are treading. We're not even treading water. We're doing laps around the pool.
I still think it's going to come down to that last game though against the Giants. Something's telling me it's going to come down to Week 17. We're both going to be like 8-7, and it's like shit. Like it's going to be the worst game ever because I'm going to be freaking out.
Yeah, that'll be that Sunday night game on NBC for the division.
Yep. January 3rd.
Well, we're going to destroy the Giants again, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, that's if Jason Pierre-Paul doesn't destroy the whole team with a firework display in the locker room before that game. He's coming back, so we'll see how he does with his hand. But, yeah, I can't imagine he's going to be the same guy.
Yeah, did you see his glove? I wasn't sure if that was fitted for him or Mickey Mouse.
Take it from my good hand.
Oh man! All right, I think we got to end this show. We've been kind of just deriving off topic for the last 10 minutes, so I think it's time to end this, and I think it's final thoughts time. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I mean, my final thought is, please, Chip Kelly, do not throw a swing pass to DeMarco Murray on the first play of the game. It's the most predictable thing ever, and it never works. It hasn't worked once this entire season, and we're heading into Week 9. So please don't do it. Do something else, anything.
Yeah, I want to see Riley Cooper and his new haircut on the field as little as possible, and put Aguilar in as much as possible. Final thoughts. Let's just get this win, and shout out to somebody watching, Breezy.
Oh, I thought we lost Jeremy. You stalled there for a second. All right, my final thoughts. Well, there was a football game on Saturday night between the Temple Owls and Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and
that's a game.
Oh, that was an awesome game, and I will say this about my Temple Owls: I have never been so prouder of a team, of an effort after a loss in my entire life. That was awesome. You guys made everyone, alumni, the entire faculty, the entire school, the entire Owls country all over the place. I mean, you guys made everyone proud. And that game wasn't just a game on Saturday night. That was a game that's going to lure potential prospects, potential signees that maybe 5 years ago would rather go to Penn State. Well, now they're going to want to go to Temple because of that game on Saturday night. The first time ever that Temple was in prime time on Saturday Night Football, and they showed themselves really, really well. I thought they were going to get blown out. I thought they were going to lose by like 10-plus points, 2+ touchdowns, and they hung in there till the end. It was awesome.
Yeah, that game was amazing. I led the charge at the bar. I was rocking Temple gear all over. That was such a fun day. I was down in the city all day. Such a good time. The atmosphere, everybody was into it. Everyone's like high-fiving me, and even older folks are like, yeah, I hope they win today. Just everybody was getting into it. It felt like, it was perfect for the Eagles bye week because, we had a huge game for Temple to root for. Unfortunately, we didn't pull it out, but, I mean, we showed that we could play with the best of them in the nation. So, That's huge. And hopefully we can finish the season strong and get a nice bowl game at the end of the year.
Yeah, they did a nice job of making Philadelphia proud. They had college game day. It was a hell of a scene. So, yeah, everyone, did great that showed up. They even had the Fanatics show up as their guest picker. So that was that was very funny, actually.
Yeah, and to quickly comment on this, I guess the college football playoff, they came out with their rankings yesterday. Temple is 23rd, I believe, off the top of my head. Houston and Toledo, two undefeated teams in the non-Power 5 conferences, are ranked behind Temple. So the only team that's ranked ahead of Temple right now in the non-Power 5 is Memphis. And there is a potential that Temple could play Memphis in the American Athletic Conference championship game at the conclusion of the season. So that game might be a right to play in one of those New Year's Six games, which is obviously, the Cotton Bowl, Orange Bowl, one of those kind of games. You're probably looking most likely at the Peach Bowl, because I believe the Peach Bowl has the last selection. So if you beat Memphis and you continue to win, we're going to Atlanta. We're going to enjoy some chicken and waffles.
That'd be great. Let's pick some ripe peaches down there.
Yeah. We're talking about those women, not those peaches.
Oh.
Well, at least I am. I know you're a little bit tied up right now, but me, I'll be looking for some fresh peaches.
I hope so, man. That'd be a great bowl game to go to. Seeing as how my freshman and sophomore year we had one win combined. I mean, it was a freaking joke. So to have relevant football at Temple University on North Broad Street, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Mike. You're kind of like out of this discussion because you didn't go to Temple.
It's all right.
Fuck you. You're a Notre Dame fan.
Oh man, it was still a hell of a game. I enjoyed it. I was actually, even though I cheer for Notre Dame, I mean, from Philly, it's hard to go against Temple. So I was really hoping that Temple would be able to pull it out. But I knew that the game was over when Temple was only able to get 3 points there at the end. They really needed to get a touchdown because I knew that Notre Dame would go down and get a touchdown. But Temple put up a hell of an effort, that's for sure. And one thing about Temple is, man, they got a great defense. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Tyler Matakevich is the fucking man.
Tyler Matakevich. Oh. He's
Stud muffin.
He's a
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy said that earlier, that we had one win in our freshman and sophomore years at Temple. This is back in 2005, 2006, so that kind of shows you guys how old we are, but whatever. All right. But, dude, we would go to games, like show up midway through the first quarter, and we could sit 5 rows up at the 50-yard line. That's how bad Temple football used to be. I mean, I used to, I was in a fraternity. Nobody ever wanted to go to the games. They're just like, oh, man, I got too drunk on Friday night. Oh, it's like a noon kickoff. Nobody wants to go. Nobody ever wanted to go. They'd rather sleep in and get rid of the hangover. Well, I always went to the games. I didn't care. I didn't care that we were getting bashed 37-6. I was still going.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to as many games as I should have when we were that bad, but it's nice to see him doing really well now, and there's a couple NFL prospects on our team, which is amazing. I mean, if you would have told me when I was a freshman or sophomore that just in a handful of years you're gonna have be top 25 ranked and maybe playing in a bowl game on New Year's Day, I would have been like, well, I thought you were crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, you mentioned Tyler Matakevich. The other guy is Tavon Young. The job that he did on Will Fuller was, wow. He was outstanding. Young is a guy, he's been like a feisty corner. I've kind of had my eye on him, but I did not think he would match up with Will Fuller the way he did.
Yeah, that was impressive. I mean, Fuller is a total stud. He's actually a local kid too.
Yeah.
So he did a great job defending him. You knew he was going to be a matchup problem, and our defense really stepped up.
Yeah. All right, let's cut this show off. We're too much Temple football. This is an Eagles show. But yeah, we went from final thoughts to talk about Temple for 10 minutes, and now this show's gone way too long. So, I know you guys would just love to spend the rest of the evening talking about Temple football with me, but unfortunately, we're not going to. We are cutting the show off. We're out of here. Go Birds, and hopefully this is the start of something great. So, you guys want to say anything else before we get out?
Well, let's hope that we can get things rolling here.
Yeah, let's get this win. Go Birds.
Go Birds, baby. Later.